Thank you for joining us on this episode of Sports Bets for Free. My name is Scott Jenkins, your host, just a local sports bettor here in Phoenix, Arizona. And hopefully today with our picks and your picks, going to be another profitable day for you. College football championship week, December 1st and 2nd. Getting to you, lots of big games. Exciting week. Our biggest play of the year is this week as well. We've been waiting for this one for a couple weeks, hoping this one would come together. I didn't expect a couple different things, but that's all right. Still in shock in some of these lines, but we'll get back to it here. So we'll start off with the Friday games. Liberty, New Mexico State, line right around 10, 10.5, 11, depending on what book you're at. 57 total. Love Liberty in this spot. They are the best team in this conference, and they are the best team by 2 touchdowns plus on a neutral field against any of the teams in this conference. New Mexico State has played well, no question about it, but Liberty is the cream of the crop when it comes to this. So we did take Liberty. Minus 3.5 first quarter, minus 6.5 first half, and minus 10 for the game. One more time, Liberty, New Mexico State. We took Liberty minus 3.5 first quarter, minus 6.5 first half, and minus 10 for the game. Next game up, we'll have our biggest bet of the season on it. It's Oregon, Washington, in Vegas, Pac-12 championship. Last year for the Pac-12, Washington, this line's been anywhere between 9 and 10. Oregon being the favorite, 65.5, 66 total. That's come down as most of your betting analysts on TV have said the under is the play on this particular one. And if it's the under, wouldn't you want the 9 points or 9.5 points in your pocket? But yet everybody's talking like Oregon's going to win by 3 touchdowns plus. If we go back to this game that earlier in the season that Washington did win, they were a 2.5, 3-point favorite at kickoff. And that won that game by a field goal at home. Understandably, Penix got hurt towards the end of that game as well as he took multiple shots. But that you're telling me it's a almost 2 touchdown difference from Washington at home versus Washington on neutral field? Not buying it. That's why it's our biggest bet of the year. 500 unit play on Washington plus the 9.5. But we did take Washington plus 2.5 first quarter, plus 6.5 first half. And then like I mentioned, plus 9.5 for the game. We also took Washington money line, which we took around plus 280. I think it's pretty close to that, plus 275, 270, somewhere around that ballpark. So one more time, Washington plus 2.5 first quarter, plus 6.5 first half, plus 9.5 for the game. We also sprinkled some on Washington money line as well on that Washington-Oregon game. Should be a barn burner tonight. Excited to watch it. And then obviously we're going to be crying or jubilated after the game's over in that one. When we look at the breakdown of that game, for me, it's pretty simple. The quarterbacks are pretty much a wash. I'd give a slight lean to Penix, even though Bo Nix has started like 722 college games. I think he's 35 years old as a starting college quarterback. And somehow everybody thinks he's going to win the Heisman. I think it should be illegal when you're over 25 years old to win the Heisman. But neither here nor there on that one. So if we say the quarterbacks are a wash, let's go to the rest of the teams. Oregon defense may be a little bit better. Sure, I'll give you that one. Playmakers on both sides, let's say a wash. So you're telling me the defense is worth 10 points? No, it's not. That's why that plus 9.5 in our pocket. I can see both teams. Both teams have passed to winning this game. Both teams have passed to losing this game. Both teams have passed to making this game like less than a 1-score game. If it's a 1-score game, we're a winner. Period. 9.5, folks. Oregon, when we look at the back half of both these team schedules, the Washington schedule got a lot tougher than the Oregon one did, right? Therefore, guess what happened? Oregon looked like the world beaters and beating everybody up, and Washington played a lot of close games. Washington played, USC, Washington, which wasn't the best team in the league, but a good team. Washington played, Arizona. Washington played Oregon State at Oregon State in the rain. Washington played Washington State, which is a rival in-state rivalry. Who did Oregon play? Let's look at it. Arizona State crushed them, as everybody does. Didn't play Arizona, so one tough opponent out there. And they played, Oregon State the last week of the season at home. So I understand the offensive numbers have came down for Washington. It doesn't mean that they're not the same team as they were prior. It's just they played a lot better competition with a lot better defenses, so they're not throwing up 50 points a game. I think this game's played probably in the high 20s, low 30s. If that's the case, both teams are probably going to be in that realm. which means you take the plus 9.5. I don't think Washington is going to score 10 points. That's basic. You're telling me at this plus 9.5 number that you're going to have to hold Washington basically less than, let's say, 21 points. I don't like, or less than 24 points. I don't see how they keep them less than 24. So therefore, we're taking the 9.5. That's the biggest reason behind it. We'll get into the Saturday slate. Oklahoma State, Texas, Big 12 championship, 15.5 point favorite for Texas, or 15, depending on where you got it. 55 total. We took Oklahoma State here, and the only reason we do is I do not believe that they are live. Right? I don't think they really have a path to win unless there's a bunch of turnovers by Texas. It's definitely possible. But what I do feel like is that Texas is probably going to win by 2 touchdowns. So if I think they're going to come at 14, or if it comes, let's say 11 to 14, then hell, the 15.5 is the winner all day long. Maybe not as much value as the Washington game, but then we didn't bet it nearly as much as the Washington game. So Oklahoma State plus 3.5 first quarter, plus 8.5 first half, and plus 15 for the game. One more time, Oklahoma State plus 3.5 first quarter, plus 8.5 first half, plus 15 for the game. Next game up, Miami, Ohio, Toledo, MAC championship. Toledo's been the best team in this conference. Don't let anybody fool you. Miami, Ohio had a good run to get to this point, but got extremely lucky to do so, especially last week when they won like 15-13, when they kicked 5 field goals for a win. Toledo's a monster. They're great defensively. They're good on offense. The 7.5, 8-point favorite, depending on where you're getting it. Take Toledo and run to the bank. Toledo minus 2.5 first quarter. Toledo minus 4.5 first half, and minus 7.5 for the game. One more time. Toledo minus 2.5 first quarter, minus 4.5 first half, and minus 7.5 for the game. Next game up, Boise State, UNLV. Boise State, 2.5 point favorite, 59 total. Boise State, for the last few games, has been on fire. No question about it. UNLV has kind of been, I don't know, the back half of the schedule has been kind of ho-hum. They started off like gangbusters, had a loss. You thought they were kind of down and out, but they continue to cover, and they continue to get points. I mean, realistically, we probably think UNLV is going to probably win the game. I don't know if the game comes within 2, but I'm going to take those 2.5 points and take my chances on that one. So, but UNLV plus 0.5 first quarter, plus 1.5 first half, plus 2.5 for the game. One more time, UNLV plus 0.5 first quarter, plus 1.5 first half, plus 2.5 for the game. Next game up, Georgia, Alabama, probably the most talked about college football game in some time. SEC championship, Georgia 5 to 6 point favor, 5.5 right now. Looks like total around 56, 55-ish. On that one there. This one boils down to, let's break this down again real quickly. So if we break down the defenses, we probably consider this both defenses are pretty good, or really good, right? So probably a wash on that end. Question boils down then to the offensive side of the ball. Number 1, quarterbacks. Who do you like better? Who's better? I think Carson Beck is steps ahead better of Milroe. Not only that, I think the playmakers for Georgia are just better than the Alabama playmakers. Now, this time next year, we're probably going to be saying something totally different. But when I got a better quarterback and a better offense, and I got defenses that are similar, I'm going to take the better quarterback and the better offense all day long, even though I have to lay the 5.5. I know the major press out there and a lot of the guys want Alabama to win, because they want to see the CFP get so screwed up that they can't pick the Final Four teams without a bunch of stuff. You know why? Because that's great for sports talk radio, right? Having debates is what that whole business is built on. So of course they want to see Alabama win, they want to see Texas win, and then they want to see if they're going to keep all the SEC teams out or just one. It's not going to happen. Georgia's going to win the game, and they're probably going to win convincingly by a couple touchdowns. So we did take Georgia minus 1.5 first quarter, minus 3.5 first half, and minus 5.5 for the game. One more time in that one, Georgia minus 1.5 first quarter, minus 3.5 first half, and minus 5.5 for the game. We love this game. It's our third highest bets for the weekend. If it wasn't for the Washington game and the Michigan-Iowa over, it probably would have been our best bet on that one there. So next game up on the slate, SMU Tulane. If you haven't seen Tulane this year, they haven't been on TV a lot unless you have some of the oddball channels like myself. Tulane is an excellent all-around team. SMU, offensive-based, obviously. I think they're still scoring on last week's Navy team. They can put up points in bunches. They won't be able to do that against a good tackling team like Tulane, and Tulane can put up points. So only laying 3 here for Tulane, I feel like is a steal, and the total of 47, one of the lower scoring games probably the weekend besides Michigan, Iowa. But we do love Tulane. We'll go Tulane minus a half first quarter, minus 1.5 first half, and we actually grabbed him at 3.5. We thought the line might go to 4.5, but there was some pushback on that one there. So Tulane minus a half first quarter, minus 1.5 first half, and minus 3.5 for the game in that matchup. Next game up, Appalachian State, Troy, 5.5 point favorite, 53.5 total. Has been pretty common to find on that one there. We do like Troy in this particular matchup. App State's had some moments this season, but not consistent. Troy, since about week 4 or 5, has really turned this thing on. Defensively, they've been studs. They turned on the offense. I think they're going to lay the hammer down here and win the conference on this game today. On that one there, only being a 5.5 point favorite. I honestly expected that line to be a touchdown. So we'll take the little bit of gift we get here. So Troy minus a half first quarter, minus 3.5 first half, and Troy minus 5.5 for the game. We also like the under. We're the opposite way of this particular game. I think Troy's defense is going to be enough to stop Appalachian State. So we like Troy under 10.5 total first quarter, under 26.5 total first half, and under 52.5 for the game as well. So Troy minus a half first quarter, Troy minus 3.5 first half, minus 5.5 for the game, under 10.5 total first quarter, under 26.5 total first half, and under 52.5 total for the game. And if you like the under like we do, you're going to get it even better now as it seems to move to 53.5 on that one there. So next game up, Louisville, Florida State. Really was looking forward to this game until obviously Jordan Travis goes down, as most of the country was as well, to see what Florida State can do. They're currently a 1 point favorite in the ACC championship. Total line now is down to 46.5. This is all quarterback play. Backup quarterback, can they win the championship week? Sure. I mean, this is basically a pick'em game anyway. Both teams can win this particular one, I think. I think Louisville's they've outlasted some teams. I don't know how they necessarily do it all the time, but they've just outlasted some folks. So we are going to take Louisville. We did grab it at plus 2.5. This line's obviously come down, but Louisville plus a half first quarter, plus 1.5 first half, and plus 2.5 for the game. Under 10.5 total first quarter, under 23.5 total first half, and under 47.5 for the game. I think the 47.5s are dried up, but still like the game 46, 40. I just think this game's played in the teens, low 20s. Therefore, it should be, I think, an easy under. And Louisville plus any points at all in that stretch, I think we're going to be big fans of. Florida State's defense is pretty solid. Louisville's is as well. So, I don't think we're going to see a ton of scoring in that game. So take the points, move on with life. That one's probably the biggest toss-up, in my opinion, of the weekend on that one. Last game of Saturday, Big Ten championship game, Michigan, Iowa. Michigan somewhere around 22-point favorite, maybe 22.5, 23. Total around 34.5, 35 in this particular matchup here. I think Michigan's going to score more than the total. So if Iowa scores at all, which they're normally good for somewhere between 3 and 17 points, then this should be one of the easiest covers. There's a second highest bet of the weekend on the over on this particular matchup here. And I think Michigan's going to also cover as well. I think, like I said, it would not shock me if they put up 40. Everybody talks about Iowa's defense, but if you look at who Iowa's played offensively, they've all got major flaws, where Michigan necessarily doesn't have those flaws. So we're going to take Michigan minus 5.5 first quarter, Michigan minus 11.5 first half, and minus 22 for the game are the bets we took there. We also like the over 7.5 first quarter, and that was plus money because it was over 7.5. Over 19.5 total first half, which was, I thought, a little heavy, but I think there's going to be more than 20 points scored at halftime, and over 34.5 for the game. So one more time in this Michigan-Iowa Big Ten championship matchup. Michigan minus 5.5 first quarter, minus 11.5 first half, minus 22 for the game. Also over 7.5 total first quarter, over 19.5 total first half, and over 34.5 total for the game. So at the end of this episode, you will see in the comments section a link to the Google Sheets. This is our ledger, so it'll say like Docs, Google Spreadsheet, and a bunch of other stuff after that. This will be our ledger. It'll have all the bets that we placed, how many units we wagered on those, what juice we got those at, and what book we took those at. Most of our stuff, if people ask, DraftKings, FanDuel are probably our two primary. We do have ESPN Bet in Arizona. We started to use them as well. But if the odds are the same, we're probably going to rely on the two we already got. If ESPN Bet offers something we might not have or a better line value, then that's something definitely to take a look at. But you'll see the books there as well. Also, you'll get to see all the results we've had all season long. Like last week, like NFL, obviously, you can see the Thursday night matchup that we just went through with Dallas and Seattle. That was kind of a toss-up game for us. Seattle scored a lot more points than we anticipated. So you can also check out those results. And then also make sure you subscribe and get notifications to the YouTube channel. So when we drop our bets, you get those first. Makes life really simple, especially when you subscribe and got notifications turned on. You get a notification sent to your phone or device to let you know Sports Bets for Free has dropped some new bets. Also, if you just subscribe, you'll see it in your subscriptions tab on your YouTube channel, where you're able to look up everything you're subscribed to. You can look it up that way as well. Look up Sports Bets for Free once you subscribe. Makes life a lot simpler than searching around YouTube for everything. I do appreciate everybody's support, as always, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.